Well, Mike's here, and as promised, we've got the hydraulic fluid all drained. We've got it all refilled. It's ready to go. So now we're going to work on the tie rods. I'm going to be Mike's cameraman, and he's going to show us how to put a tie rod on a farmall 560.
All right, first thing, see if we can get this nut off. Hey, it actually worked. I was surprised that didn't have a cotter pin.
See, the one on the bottom does.
I noticed that one's got the cotter pin. This one didn't have a cotter pin. I think the new ones do.
I almost grabbed some today.
Pull that up a little bit. Get into that rust. Yeah, it's definitely got some play. That should not move that much, that's for sure. So now we're going to take the inner nut off and do the same on the inside. Look at how much play that's got in the joint even. You see the nut spinning? That shouldn't spin. It should be tight. Well, the problem we got here is this is so loose that it's actually moving on the mount. So when I go to spin this nut to get it off, the whole tie rod end's spinning in the end instead of being tight against the. I want to cut this boot off so I can try to get a better bite. Let's see if I can't hold it with a pair of vice grips. Well, we finally got it tore apart. We saved you the heating and beating and grinding and fighting and cursing. This is a family channel, so you didn't want to, see the choice words that were said. But we finally got it apart. Ready to put the new tie rod ends in. Got it all cleaned out. Made sure there's no debris in there. Got the new tie rod end on there. Get our castle nut. Okay, yeah, on this one here, we had a little bit of play, so what I did is I sleeved it to make the shaft a little bit tighter, so that way it doesn't flop around in there. Basically put a wedge around it, and we're ready to cinch it down. Good and tight.
Did your hole line up?
Yeah, that's what I was making sure of. That's why I wanted to use the wrench so I could see the hole so we can put the cotter pin in. Yeah, that tightened up real nice. And we're going to make sure we got our cotter pin in. You can use needle nose pliers. Me, I just use my fingers most of the time. Most of the time I can just bend it with my fingers. That keeps the nut from wallering out. Okay, so what we had to do here is we had some excessive wear in here. This hole was a little wallered out, so it was making this loose. So what we did is we basically made a bronze bushing to kind of fatten that up a little bit. And then that, because it's bronze and it's a softer metal, will help to seat inside there and make it tight to where we don't have any play in our front end. I'm going to tighten it up first, then I'll back the nut off, and then I'll put the washer on. So that way we can seat it. See, now it's not wobbling side to side. So, that tightened it up real nice. All we need to do is just get that a little bit fatter. Just because of how worn it is. And it's not like we're racing this thing. All we're doing is mowing hay. This is the one we had to heat up yesterday and whop the tar
almost take a sledgehammer to it. Hang on.
One last bronze bushing. I'm taking the wrench to where it's just on the copper. We got one last lock washer.
I got one in my pocket, I think. It's the old one, but it'll work.
Oh, we don't have a new one?
I didn't think so. Because I think I only got 3 of them.
Oh, okay. That'll work. Mainly just need it for the spacing.
Just got to put the grease zerks in.
Put the grease zerks in and grease it.
We need to tighten this up.
Yeah, we will once we get it.
Okay.
Remember in our other video when we serviced the tractors, I had mentioned that at work I have an electric grease gun. Well, Uncle John took my advice and he went and bought, ready for the unboxing, a brand new electric Dewalt grease gun. These are nice. I literally use one of these every day at work. They're easy to set up. Of course, it's brand new, so it's going to be stiff. Oh, get it out of here. Slide it over, then get it. Slide it into the notch. Take your cap off your grease. Now, being a new grease gun, we've got to purge all the air out of the system, so it may take a minute before we get grease out of it. There's a bleeder valve right here at the top. We're going to loosen that up. I don't know if you heard the pop of air. Now see that grease is starting to come out of it? We'll tighten that down. Alright, got the battery. Yep. We're good to go. Now it's got an air bubble. There it goes. Okay, see the boot swell? It's all the further we need to take it. Because if we go too much, we'll blow the boot off. It's still new. Yeah. New grease certs and a new grease gun.
Now, Mike, why don't you tell people too, when one of these when it won't take a grease in a grease cert, what's some of the tricks that you can use?
First thing is make sure that there's no, because there's a little ball at the top of it. Make sure it's not all rusted or clogged up. Might even take a small screwdriver and try to clear around that to make sure it's good. I've seen in some cases where they're just rusted solid and you have to take the grease cert out with a small wrench and put a new grease cert in. There's just no getting around that. But a lot of times it can just be cleaned up. There we go. First thing we're going to do now is we're going to check the alignment. And what the alignment is we're going to see if the tires are pointing inward, pointing outward, or straight ahead. We want them as close to straight ahead as possible. So that way, it'll track true down the road. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do, and the way I was taught it, they called it the Hillbilly Alignment. We're going to use a tape measure and actually measure from the center rib of the tire to the center rib of the tire. We're going to do it on the front, and we're going to do it on the back. We're going to see how close those measurements are, because if it's towed in, where the tires are pointing inward, this measurement will be shorter than the back measurement. And then if it's towed out, then the back will be shorter than the front. So we want to have it to where both measurements are as close to the same as possible. Okay, see that knocked us off another eighth, almost a little over 1/8 of an inch. So 64. I'm down to 66 and a half now. So we're going in the right direction. Being a tractor, we're probably not going to get it exact.
Right.
We can definitely get it closer. So yeah, 65. Yeah, we're less than 66 and a half, so we're less. And who's to say how much wobble's in that tread pattern of the tire too?
Right. So you want to try to do it again?
I don't know if they normally tow tractors in a little bit or out.
I don't know.
Okay. Because each time we wiggle it, it does go in the right direction. Yeah. And we're a little out. It's still towed in a little bit.
I think it's that tire.
But when you track down the road, it won't be like one like this. They'll even themselves out. Your steering wheel will just be
right. So we want to lock it down.
Yeah, I'll lock it down now.
Okay.
I think that's the closest we're going to get it.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and tighten up the jam nut. That locks them all in place.
And it's time to take her home. Well, as you can tell, it took us 2 nights, but we finally got the tie rods on the Farmall 560 thanks to Mike, and Mike always does a fine job for us. If you need some mechanic work, get a hold of us. We'll send Mike over. He can always use some extra cash. I wanted to take just a second to show you one of the new arrivals to Uncle John, and in fact, it's going to become another Mike project. This is a International Cub Cadet 1200. It's one of the bigger ones of the Cub Cadets from like the 1970s. I was able to find this, pick it up. It has a snow blade on front of it. It also comes with the moor deck as well. We just got this in today. We're going to be servicing it and getting it ready. Mike's going to take that job over, and we're going to be using it to haul the mobile egg mobile. Okay? Yeah, we're going to have a hen house on wheels. We haven't started building it yet, but you'll be there for us when we build it. Anyway, this little tractor is going to do the pulling as it, moves around behind the cows as well. Plus, this little thing can haul water and all sorts of stuff. We got a really good deal on this, and it was one of those that we couldn't pass up. And another little project for Mike. So
everybody's finding projects for me.
That's right, because Mike doesn't have anything else to do in the evening.
Yeah, don't tell my wife that.
Yeah. Don't forget, if you'd like to find out more about Uncle John's Farms, head over to our website, unclejohnsfarms.com. You can also hit us up on our Facebook page as well. Don't forget, we are also welcoming people who are on the SNAP program. Also, if you get one of those cards from the school for free lunches, we can take those as well. Just hit us up on Facebook, and we'll be glad to help you out. Again, thanks a lot for being a part of our video today, and thank you so much for being part of our community.